Hey everybody, welcome to the Revolve Recap weekly podcast where we help the members of Revolve Church to deepen their connection to God, His family, that's the church, and His mission. This is Greek Billy.
And I am David McCumber.
Thank you for joining us. Let's get recapping.
Oh, thank you, Billy. Greek Billy, for welcoming us.
David, listen, what's going on in today's episode? Why should people stick around and listen to you? I mean, me as well, but mostly you.
Well, because there was a spectacular sermon that was delivered on Sunday.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Who preached?
Elder David.
Who's that?
That's me, pal.
It's you. Oh, good job.
That's why I'm in the hot seat.
It's Dave's entrance music.
Yep.
Oh, we're trying to do the applause, but I always forget which one it is. It's all right.
But yeah. So I preached this weekend, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. There was some questions about some of my marriage chart. There was a question about my marriage chart.
About your marriage chart? Oh yeah. Like somebody wanted a copy of it, or?
And then we're just going to talk about what's going on with the family, with the body, with the 10-year anniversary party happening.
Party.
And then we have our mission partners are multiplying overseas, so we're going to talk about that as well.
That's true. They are multiplying. In case you haven't noticed, Dave and I are switching. Our roles are totally reversed today because David preached. So I'm like, I'm the host, and David's like my guest, and I'm asking him questions.
Yeah, we switched.
So David, what's the question of the day? You got one for me?
Yep. Question of the day. I didn't have to use my one day app or day one app. I just used my brain.
Well, I'm trying to get us sponsors, but go on.
All right. Well, this is a question that Billy and I, when we drive to the airport, when we travel with Scotty, we always ask this question. And if you could get a prop, so we'll make it for the podcast.
Okay.
If you could get a prop from any Bible story.
Oh man!
So normally we do any prop from any movie.
Yeah.
What would it be? And then we talk about it. But we'll do any prop from any Bible story. What would yours be? Any
prop from any Bible story. What would it be? It would definitely be.
And by prop, you know what I mean.
I know what a prop is, David. Like an airplane prop.
Propeller.
It would definitely be. Goliath's sword. You know, the one that when David goes into the priest and and he's like, "Do you got a weapon here?" And he's like, "Well, I don't have any weapons. I just got this sword." And he pulls it out.
Probably still had blood on it.
Yeah, they used to decapitate Goliath. Plus, it was like a big sword. Plus, I'm into sharp, pointy things.
That is true. Which is funny because it must just be us. Because the first thing I thought was a sword too.
Oh yeah, the one that cut off the ear.
No, the one. Oh, that is a good one. There's a lot of good swords.
What sword you think? The sword of truth?
No, the sword that is it in Judges where that fat guy gets stabbed?
Oh yeah.
I can't remember.
Ehud, he stabs the Moabite king. What was his name?
I don't know, but he's left-handed.
He's left-handed.
So they searched him and they're like, "Oh, this guy doesn't have a sword," but he was left-handed.
Yeah,
and he pulled it out and he stabbed him, and then
King Eglon of Moab, and he just is like, "Hey, I gotta talk to you," and then he's like shanks him.
Yeah.
Man.
So
I got a lot of juicy things to say about that story, but they're not PG-13.
Whoa. Is that what this is rated? PG-13?
That's maybe TV-14.
TV-14. All right.
All right. Good question of the day, David. I'm very proud of you.
I'm not as rehearsed as you are.
David, that was an excellent quotad.
Yeah.
It was an excellent. Don't be down on yourself, David. All right, listen, sermon overview. I'll kind of tell you what I heard, so you know if you did a good job or not. And then if you want to chime in, feel free to chime in, all right? We did Leviticus 27. David taught about that. It's the final chapter of Leviticus about, vows and taxes and tithing. If I was going to summarize David's sermon, it's this idea that as people, we're obsessed with the question of what's it going to cost, and mostly because we love rules over relationships. So like we want someone to say, don't do this or do this, instead of asking for ourselves whether it's the right thing to do. And so we tend to look at our faith and we measure it in terms of cost, which, sometimes is biblical, but not always. So summarizing, our faith cost Jesus everything. And then it's freely given to us without cost. And now here's the focus of the sermon. Now we lay down our lives because they don't belong to us anyway. So a couple highlights for me. A couple one-liners that I really liked. One was, is this controlling me or am I in control of it? I thought that was a great question as we think about giving Christ our everything. And, one of the things that came to my mind was snacks. I love snacks. I'm a snack person. And I was thinking, snacks, because it's really gluttony. And for my part of it, it's gluttony. Snacks cost me money. They cost me health. And they cost me control because something's in control of me. And so I was thinking, man, that's a really good question. I also loved when you said, nobody's counting. I ask for everything. I thought that was a great one-liner. And also, you can't make a vow with something that's not yours to give. And so the big takeaway for me was I don't give God something to impress him. In this case, it's myself. Like, hey, God, look, I'm giving you me. How impressive. Because I'm already his. So essentially, to not give God X, Y, or Z is actually like I'm plundering his temple, like Indiana Jones.
Well, you did have that sweet hat today.
I know, and Scotty's hat was more of an Indiana Jones hat.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
So that's kind of like my highlight, my summary of the sermon. What about you?
You must have been paying really good attention.
I was taking notes.
You hit all the parts. I think,
When you were prepping it, what was like the thing that you felt like God kept putting on your heart personally? Because I always talk about preaching out of conviction, so it's like when you were prepping it, what did you feel like? I think that's what God wants me to hear.
I think it was understanding what the talents are. We talk about time, talents, and treasure. And I gave examples of how we tithe as a family and how I give of my time to be in the Word and all that. But my talents, I think even with with maybe preaching and things like that, like I kind of feel like that's not my lane and I don't go in it. And because I feel like you do such a good job and some of the other Steve and Brett and you guys do it more often than me, and I felt like maybe
like we just were to be like, David, stay in your lane, just lead worship.
Yeah, and it was like, what, if God has given me a talent with that, I need to not compare myself to others and maybe try to work on that a little bit more. So similar to with the hub, we always teach the hub together, and I think, I don't want to teach it because you do such a good job. But at the same time, I do feel like God has given me a talent for teaching, but instead of actually pursuing it, I'm comparing myself to others.
Yeah, because it's like how you do it. Mm-hmm. I think that's a really good point because, I think we do that with a lot of different stuff, and you think about the fact that just because one person teaches in one way doesn't mean that's the only way to teach. I mean, I often, my mom will tell me about the teachers that she'll listen to besides her son. Mm-hmm. And
how they pale in comparison.
No, it's more like the other way around. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, she's very encouraging to me, but she likes teachers who aren't bad teachers. They're just maybe not my style. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting to think that, but then she would never want to just sit around and listen to John Piper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But she loves guys like David Jeremiah and Charles Stanley, they're great communicators, but they're not my style of communication. And so it's interesting because it's different speakers, our other elder, Dave Walker, he loves Tim Keller. Mm-hmm. If I never listened to another Tim Keller sermon again, I wouldn't care. It's not because I don't like him. Yeah. He just doesn't do it for me.
You don't even know him.
He's too bald. He's too bald. He likes jazz. No, I'm just kidding. He's just not my style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe Ravi Zacharias, I was never into Ravi.
So instead of me trying to emulate your preaching or teaching style,
just be you, bro.
Me be me, because someone might like me more than you.
Maybe next time instead of preaching, you could do a speed drawing of Jesus, and then you spin it at the end.
Spin it at the end.
Yeah,
that's what I'm going to do next time. Thanks for pigeonholing me, Bill.
Well, you know what? Are you gaslighting me?
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means.
All right, on the ground. How do we apply this week's sermon? It's fresh in your mind. So what do you think?
Well, I think for looking up, we need to be asking ourselves, do we really understand that our identity leads to activity? So if our identity is we're a child of God, we're not, looking at making a vow. or just, it's like, Mike, I don't want my kids to make a vow to me like,
I will mow the lawn if you only love me, Father.
Yeah. No. So
You can mow the lawn though, Corey.
Yeah. Well, I'd love for you to mow the lawn, but it'd be out of a response to me loving you as my son.
Yeah. And because the lawn needs to get cut.
It does. Bill picked me up this morning and he noticed that my lawn needed to be cut.
Yeah. Or if your identity is that you're a family of God, realizing I give to one another because that's what siblings do. So there's going to be times, when, Frank is down on his luck, and then there's going to be time when I'm down on my luck. And so we mutually help each other out.
Yeah.
So it's like you understand that identity, and then it's about relationship instead of rules, because it's being birthed out of who you are, not what you do.
I wish I would have referenced Frank when I was preaching today.
Oh, that would have been good.
Because you always reference Frank. And
yeah.
I didn't see him today here, so.
Well, he probably needed a break. So looking in,
God has given us time, talents, and treasure.
Yeah.
Where did you get time, talents, and treasure?
I think it's a Four Fields thing.
Oh, okay. Because you use that a lot.
It's a Baptist thing. Baptists.
3 T's.
Yeah, Baptists love alliteration. But I'm pretty sure that was the first time I heard that. I was in Iraq.
Okay, yeah. I like it. Time, talents, and treasure. So are you using your time, your talents, and your treasure for God's glory within the body?
And we got a Q&A about that, so we'll hold that.
Oh, okay.
For some specifics of what that looks like. I mean, you talked about it a little bit with your speed painting. But no, but you talked about a little bit with preaching in your own style. Or as one author I read said, finding your own voice, like finding your voice. Don't try to be somebody else's voice. And looking out. What about, how do you apply this sermon, looking out?
Or you feel like you're trying to do my voice because you're in my seat?
I feel like David and I, if you're listening instead of watching, I'm sitting in David's seat, David's sitting in my seat, and I got the plant behind me.
Uh-huh. You're looking at the clock.
Yeah, I got the stopwatch running.
It's totally a different setup.
I kind of feel like it's freaking me out.
Yeah. Maybe you need to stay in your own lane.
I should stay in my own lane.
All right. Looking out. Share your testimony this week because, God is doing a work in your life and it's his story through you. So, God gives us a story to tell and it's for his glory. So, think about where God has brought you, the forgiveness that he's given you, the grace he's given you, and share that with others. Because I think just like not giving your money or your time or your resources, if you're not sharing the stories of the blessings that God has given you, that too is withholding.
That's great.
Well, thanks, Billy.
Yeah. Good job, David. So Q&A, you ready for the Q&As?
Bring them on.
You sure?
I guess.
Because they're juicy.
I'm ready.
Q&A number 1. So what's this going to cost? No, so this is my thought. I wrote this question down when you were preaching. And I just said, where do you suggest someone begins if they're new to giving? So in other words, pretend that there's somebody there who maybe they came. Let's do this. Let's paint like an artificial situation for Frank.
Are you going to paint this picture?
Yep. So Frank was raised in the Catholic Church. So he's got like a little bit of a thing about money because he always feels like the church is after his money. All right. And so he doesn't give consistently, here and there he throws a 20 in the box, you know what I mean? Sometimes maybe something's going on, like he hears about this missionary need, and that might stir his heart a little bit.
100 spot.
But for the most part, he doesn't really give with any consistency. And so if Frank left this morning and he said, I want to start giving regularly, where does he start? Like, does he start out giving 50%?
50 is a good number.
So practically speaking, like just real nitty gritty.
So I would say 2 things.
If you're new to giving.
2 things. 1, I would start at giving 10% to the local church.
Which is a lot if you've never given before.
Okay. But on the second side of that coin is I would write a budget and get in control of your money. And that was a big thing. Melissa and I, the example that I gave, my pastor, when we were first getting married, told us to start tithing now because I was 19, she was 20. We had minimal income. So
what a cougar, huh? She was 20, you were 19.
Yeah, going for the younger man. And and he's like, start that habit now. And then when you're established and you're actually making money and have a career, it won't seem like a shock where it's like you're all of a sudden you're making $80,000 a year and you're tithing on that. So, so we started young, but at the same time, we were about 10 years into our marriage and we realized that we were tithing, but we were also being really foolish with our money. We had credit cards and we were just buying things that we couldn't afford. And we felt like even though we were tithing, it was almost like it was checking off the box.
Yeah.
We were tithing, but we weren't in control of our money.
I got a story about it.
So we needed to make a budget. So that would be kind of two sides of the same coin. Would be set a goal of 10% to give to the local church, and then also make a budget so you're in control of your money. Your money's not in control of you.
That's good. You're in control of your money. Your money's not in control of you. I think it was Dave Ramsey who said, it might have been Andy Stanley, but he said, a budget tells your money where it should go instead of wondering where it went. And I think that's a good point. So you make a budget because you realize you actually probably have more money than you realize. And David said, make a goal to give 10%. I'm going to put a caveat there. If that feels soul crushing to you, you could consider saying, I'm going to start with a lower percentage, but then you actually say and then in 2 months, I'm going to raise it 1%. And so maybe your goal is 10%, within, by the end of the year or something like that. Or I just want to give a little story here. Jason Tozer, who's David's brother-in-law, I don't know if everybody knew that, told me a story about a foolish purchase David made.
Go for it.
When he was young.
I am an open book.
When he was young. See, because Jason came over the other day. He bought what do they call them? Like an RC car?
Yeah.
For his son Emerson for his birthday. And when he gave it to him, Emerson was like, I feel like this gift is actually for Dad.
That's so true.
But so Jason was like saying that one time David bought a remote control airplane in California and crashed it within the first 10 minutes.
10 minutes? It was the first flight. I mean, it literally took off. I was like, yeah. Boom, crash. And it was like $250.
So there you go. But you didn't pray about that one.
No.
I'm just kidding. But so the point is, we regret money we waste. We regret money we lose, but we don't regret money we give away.
Never once have I regretted that. That's a great question, Bill.
All right, next question. Let's say this is like a self-assessment question.
Okay.
Let's say a family makes a combined income of $75,000 a year. Okay. So they make some money, but they're not they're not rolling in it. They're just making a normal amount of money as a family. And they give $20 a week. Is that good? Is that bad? Doesn't matter. Should they do a double take and check themselves? Like, we're talking about a family where they don't really have a lot of disposable income. So what kind of advice would you give to them?
Well, I think I would go back to looking at a budget. Like, where's your money going? It seems to me if you're just throwing $20,000 or $20,000. When you first said that, I thought you said $20,000 a week.
$20,000 a week.
I was like, holy smokes.
You're just living in a lot of debt.
Yeah.
Debt forgiven though.
But I think you need to. There needs to be a self-assessment. I think similar to the other thing, I would say to write a budget, to look at where your money's going. If you're just dropping a 20 in, is it because it's an afterthought? Because $75,000 a year is not. It's like
I think the average person makes like $35,000 a year or something like that. So it's kind of like a normal working man's salary.
But it's like,
for a family.
But do you have $50,000 in credit card debt?
Yeah.
Are you living in a house that you can barely afford?
Right.
I think it's really a matter of just assessing your toys and, I own a boat, but the boat cost me like $5,000.
Right.
And I set aside money and savings but because I own the boat doesn't break the bank. So I'm not saying you shouldn't have toys.
Yeah.
But I didn't buy like a $40,000 like suite. Even $40,000 is not really that sweet of a boat, but you know what I mean?
Like, I hear you. Yeah.
I'm spending money within what I can afford.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so it's okay to, go out to dinner and that kind of stuff. My wife, Gina, she's really all about a budget. And the budgeting is nice because it's like we use like an envelope type system, even though we do it on a spreadsheet. Yeah. But it's nice to just be like, I know I have whatever, $250 this month for fun. Whether that's going out to eat, whether it's getting takeout, going to the movies, whatever it might be.
Buying comic books,
whatever Gene is into.
Magic the Gathering cards.
Right, anything like that. But the point is, once that hits zero, you're done. And then you're like, well, I either have to borrow money from groceries or I'm done.
Yeah.
And so it's just it's nice to have a budget, because then you just can, like, hey, listen, we can't afford to go out, but how about you guys come over and we eat peanut butter and jelly?
I love peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, just do peanut butter and jelly parties.
So we are actually, I was talking with Breton, and he asked me to possibly do a class like midsummer, and I am thinking about doing maybe like a budgeting.
That's great.
Like Dave Ramsey type class, because that was what we did 15 years ago, and we still do it. So.
That's great. Yeah. All right, third question.
What is it?
We've talked a lot about giving treasure. What does it look like to give of our talent and to give of our time? I think of this because my sister's former church, which is in Princeton, she said that they could raise, like if there was a new missionary, like they could raise the person's entire year package in one service. But then if you were like, hey, we need a couple volunteers on a Saturday, people wouldn't show up. So, for people, maybe giving money is no big deal, but like what about giving time and talent, especially talent? I think that's like the hardest to like understand. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I don't do any speed paintings, painting
or
Jesus
like,
on the podcast.
Or like Nacho Libre, God gave him a gift.
Yeah.
It's wrestling.
You
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how do you use your talents? Let's do that. How do you use your talents? Like for somebody who's like, I'm good at soccer. Like how do you use your talents? You know what I mean? Or are you playing a mean set of spoons?
Well, let's go with the first one. If you have a great talent with soccer. I think of Corey's soccer coach, who they have practices twice a week because of the township or whatever the rules are. But throughout the winter, he does practices like 2 or 3 times a month, just because he loves playing soccer with the kids. And I think
that's awesome.
I think if you were, but to take it to the next level, if I don't know if he's a believer or if he goes to church or anything like that, but if you're in the church and you love playing soccer, to host a
clinic or something,
a soccer clinic, and say, look, we're gonna do an hour's worth of teaching you how to play soccer, and we're gonna do a small Bible study, and you did that once or twice a month or something. Like that is a great way to use your talent, for the kingdom and for the church.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Your illustration about the spoons.
Yeah, mean set, like Spoon Man from Soundgarden. Spoon Man.
There's no hope for you.
Well, you could move to the Appalachia and join a Appalachia music worship team.
Go. And that is why we're team. That's why we're a team. It's
that's why they call us team guys.
Team podcast. But that's where, we're the one another's. I didn't have an example and you did.
Yeah. Well,
I think, it's what do you enjoy? We talked about it a few weeks ago. It's like, if you enjoy fishing, take someone fishing with you. And
take me fishing with you.
Sure. I'll take you.
Take me fishing, guys.
Yeah. But
take me out on your sweet boat.
Be intentional with that. If your talent is BLTs, bring them to Billy and I.
Well, no, bring them to me, and then make David just a bacon on bread.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think the talents and the time, yes, and I was trying to make sure I hit that in the sermon.
No, you did. It's just that it's like a more ambiguous kind of.
Yeah, but I think it just, that's when I was talking about, reading your Bible. It's like, do you just hit the ground running and then don't think about Christ all day, and then you go to bed and you like throw up a prayer? And it's like, well, no, your time, every moment is the Lord's. So every decision should be the Lord. So, but you don't want to look at it as like, did my quiet time, 15 minutes, checked it off, or 1 hour, checked it off, big check.
Yeah.
But it's like, is your whole day
stewarding?
Yeah.
Yeah, you managing. I think, and that goes back to another point, is that, let's say you have a talent for, let's go back to soccer. You have a talent for soccer. You don't only have to run soccer clinics for kids at church. Like you can join a rec program where you play soccer, and you can be a person who is above reproach and doesn't slide tackle people in the knee and doesn't, cuss out the ref, you know what I mean? And like these kinds of ideas. And so, you're supposed to do all things to the glory of God. And so, like, just because you're a Christian doesn't mean you're an actress, doesn't mean you only have to star in Christian movies. But you can have a sense of testimony no matter what you're doing. Doesn't mean that you have to only, do sight and sound for a living.
Yeah.
But if that's what you want to do, that's great. You know what I mean? But the point is that you need to redeem your everyday life in the time as well as the talents.
Good job, Billy. You did a great job answering my Q&As for me.
I didn't answer them. Listen, we're taking a break, guys. A little 10-second break. You know what I mean? Just kick back, relax, take a break. All right, guys, welcome back. We're about to look in with everybody's favorite section of the podcast. What's up? What's up with Revolve? General announcements, guys. All right, David, what's going on?
Well, we have a hub class coming we're landing the plane this week.
Screeching to a halt.
Yep, with the letter E, equip and empower.
Wow.
Yep.
I can't believe it's actually ending.
Yeah. Well, just for this time, we'll do another one.
Yeah, we will. We will, David.
It was really good though. I really enjoyed it. I think if you haven't been a part of the new version of the hub, we're looking more at identity rather than activity, or preceding activity,
yes.
And who we are as the child of God and family of God and ambassadors of God.
Yeah, I really like this kind of reboot, so to say, of the hub. I like it a lot. I like it so much that there's nothing I'm going to change.
Nice.
Which, as David said to me, he said, if we redo this, you're not allowed to touch it for a year.
1 year.
Because I'm always tweaking. That's what they call me.
Tweaker Billy? Wow, that did not roll off the tongue very well. That was
This is my talent, by the way. If I bump the microphone, it sounds like the soundtrack to Dune. Once there was a man.
It's like Hans Zimmer, man. He would be all over that.
Yep.
He would be great. All right. We got the family class coming up. Tell
Family
us about that.
class.
Family class.
See, that's like our roles are reversed. So family class is starting a week from the 30th. Actually, what day is it? Is it June 6th? Or June? I think it's June 6th.
It's June 6th because the birthday party.
It's June 5th. Sorry, it's not my role. June 5th is the birthday party.
June 5th is the birthday party. 10 years.
That sounds so good. All right, so June 6th is the family book club. I'm already really enjoying the book. I'm a couple of chapters in as I've been writing out the questions in advance and that kind of stuff. And so basically, here's the deal. It's for if you have a child who's 4th grade and up. It's primarily geared mostly towards like that 4th to 8th grade range. But if you have a child 4th grade and up, you can come with your family. You're staying. It's not like a drop-off. And you're going to read the 2 chapters a week in advance, have some pre-book discussion, then read the chapter, and then we're going to come back together. We're going to rehash the chapters, do a little more discussion and that kind of stuff. I think it's going to be really good. It's one of those books where I read it and I'm like, oh, this makes so much more sense now. Even the questions that I had. And so listen, if you want to do that, you got to let us know this week. Text me, text David, text Jen, send us an email, stop by the office. Hopefully we're here so we can give you the book and you can begin reading with your family because it starts the 6th and you need to have read the first 2 chapters.
Yeah, and that's 10 pages.
It's 10 pages, so you better get on it.
Better get on it. Summer break.
So David, are you excited about this?
I'm very excited. I'm excited. I think what I'm excited about is, we do family discipleship within our home. And I know that, Seth, he really enjoyed going to youth group with Christian but it'd be kind of neat to just see the dialogue with our kids, kind of being in the room with our kids as they interact with other kids, but then we're also as a family. So I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited about it too. I hope it's a good idea.
Well, if it's not, it was yours.
Well,
I screenshotted the text message. We were like, I got this great idea.
Well, I guess we'll see if I'm wrong.
Yep.
I mean,
also, if giving doesn't go up,
it's your fault.
It's my fault.
We had a couple visitors this week from Campus Crusade.
They're never coming back.
And they were like, well, we're checking out this church and another church. And so if they don't come back, guys, you know who to blame.
Yep. Old
Davy Wavy.
Davy.
That's what they call him. Davy Wavy.
Last chapter, David.
That's what they call him. The closer.
All right.
All right. Building updates. Can you give us a little update on the building situation?
Well, we've been looking around, and we talked with the good folks at LCMR, Lower Cape May Regional High School. Oh, glory to our high school down by the blue Atlantic shore.
Is that the official song?
Yep, I went there. I used to do the announcements, and we'd sung that song.
Can you tell everybody what happened with your prank?
Oh.
Well, first finish the announcement and then tell them about how it's a miracle of God. They're letting you back.
It is a miracle of God. They are letting us possibly use the building. Well, they are letting us use the building, but they haven't given us the price yet. So if it's like
$6 billion,
$2,000 a week or something, it doesn't make sense. But yeah, so when I went to LCMR, my senior year, me and some folks from my youth group, we let some mice and rats go in the cafeteria during lunch.
For Jesus.
And and I got suspended for 10 days, and it was like a whole big thing. And
because the bubonic plague broke out.
Yeah, I had to go to the ground zero of COVID and monkeypox, right in that. But yeah,
oh my goodness!
So thank the Lord that Joe Castellucci, who was the principal who suspended me,
he doesn't know you go here.
Well, but it's a little like Jesus. He forgives. He moves on.
Yeah.
Joe, forgive me. I did my time.
You did your time.
I did my time, and
I mean, let's be honest. You did more time for this. What is it called? Zootopic? Is that it? Is a zootopic disease?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I think it's a zootopic disease.
Monkeypox?
A zoonotic. Zoonotic disease. So let's just be honest that David has done more time for his zoonotic disease than Dr. Fauci. Come on, that was good.
That was good.
All right.
I don't know what a zoonotic disease is.
It's a disease born from animals. Because remember they kept saying that COVID came from a bat?
Yeah.
Not from Batman.
Yeah.
From a bat.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what's going on at Revolve, guys. We're going to take another break.
What's up?
And then we're going to transition to our Looking Out, where we talk about our mission partners around the globe. Welcome back. I'm Bill Lackey, and this is my co-host, partner in crime,
Big Mac Attack.
The Big Mac Attack. We're glad to give you guys some updates. David said that our mission partners are multiplying, and he is correct.
They are. They're making babies.
They're making the babies.
Yep. We have two young men whom we support and train. When I say we, I mean we.
Revolve supports
and Bill is
two separate missionary units, one in Pakistan and one in Germany.
Yep. Who is from Afghanistan.
Yep. And their wives are pregnant.
They are. And how is Rashid's wife doing?
So Rashid's wife, her name is Shumaiza. I think that's how you pronounce it. I think she's like 30 weeks along, and she has low amniotic fluid. So she's actually a high-risk pregnancy. Okay. And this past week, they didn't have a lot of baby movement. And so she went to the doctor. They put her on some like fluids or whatever they do. And they checked the baby. The baby's fine. They did find out they're having a baby girl. All right. So that's exciting. Let's see if we get the applause right.
Good job.
Thank you. So we're happy for Rashid and Shumaiza. Rashid is a young guy in his late 20s, planted a church in Pakistan. And real nice guy, real smart. Wants to plant a Bible school. That's his vision. And so we're trying to kind of talk with him and help him think through some of those things. And then Johanna and his wife Tahira, living in Germany from Afghanistan originally, she's pregnant as well. And so Rashid, I think his wife is due at the end of August. And Johanna's wife is due at the end of June. It's going to be close to David's birthday.
How cool to be called if he named it David.
He's going to name it Matthias.
I'll talk to him about it.
Yeah, talk to him about it.
I'm sure he'll change it for me.
So, yeah. So we're excited for both those guys. Please keep their wives in prayer in this final stretch.
Yeah.
And, praise the Lord for new life.
Yeah, amen.
All right, give us an update about the Vances. Christian Vance.
Christian Vance.
Fancy pants.
Vance Pants. They moved into their new apartment in
Astoria,
New York, and he gave us a little Cribs. What is that? Video? That's what it's called. Video.
Yeah, MTV Crib style.
And I don't know if you noticed, but there was a lot of David McCumber art hanging out in there.
That's so funny because when he sent me a video, it had a lot of my drawings in it.
So we made 2 different videos. That Vance Pants.
Oh man, he's
that sounds just like
sneaky.
him. So, but no, they graduated from his. He was in this program. What was it called?
Equip,
which it stands for something, I'm sure, like evangelizing quietly underneath individual
international project.
There it is. Yep. So, but he is finishing. They just finished that up, so now he can be like a team leader now, right? He's leading Seed Weeks.
Delta Team, I think, is his team.
Delta
Team leader.
Nice. So,
or it might be Gold leader. Gold leader.
It was really, when I got the announcement that he graduated, it was like
he's a little proud. He's a little grown up.
My little boy's growing up.
Aw.
Because
You think he threw his hat?
What hat?
I don't know. You throw a hat when you graduate.
He wouldn't put a hat on that hair.
Mm-mm.
What
could he throw? Throw his shoe?
Throw someone out of his group. So that's an inside joke, and I'm going to have to give you some sort of contextual background. But basically, Christian was one of the elders who was always like... He's
a good cop, bad cop, but he was like bad cop.
He was always bad cop. He was always like, we got to tell that person, So it was like... I can't give an example, but...
Well, it's like, it's elder dynamics, right? And so, Steve is very like tactical, but he already said his brand was Godfather. So he's plotting.
Yeah.
And so like if there was a situation that needed to be dealt with, Dave Walker, who's like a shepherd, he was always like, let's just like hug it out.
We should have a sleepover. We'll make a meal together.
Have a pillow fight.
Yeah. Yep.
And Christian was like, nope, got to kick him out.
Yeah. Church discipline.
Give him the boot. And Dave was like, maybe a pillow fight.
Yeah.
And then David and I, we just would be eating snacks.
Yep.
And be like, whatever you guys want to do. We're going to Greece.
So it's really cool to see Christian and Elena and what's going on with them.
All grown up.
Yep.
All right, David. Rapid fire.
Boom, boom,
up
boom.
in and out. Boom, 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 boom. Bring us out.
Here we go.
That's why they call you Closer David.
There we go. Yeah, because I closed out Leviticus too.
And you're closing out the podcast right now.
All right. Looking up, why don't you read the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 5 through 7. We're starting a book club. Not a book club. We're starting a Bible study on the Sermon on the Mount. But it also talks about Jesus. He's like laying out his kingdom. And it's...
Yeah.
So read...
Kingdom ethic.
Read the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 5, 6, and 7. Connect with someone inside of Revolve. We got our 10-year anniversary party coming up.
Oh, yeah.
So we want to, be reaching out to somebody.
Ooh,
meet someone new this week.
You know what? At the party next week, everybody should find one person they don't know.
Okay. Ask
them when they started coming to Revolve and asking them their like testimony or a funny story about David or something.
I was going to say find someone you know or you don't know.
Yeah.
And ask them if they want to go swimming with you.
I'm afraid of swimming with people, Dave. What if they try to tackle me in the water? What if they try to baptize me?
Can I do my
I'm sorry.
thing? All right. Rapid fire. Connect with someone inside of Revolve. It's our 10-year anniversary party. You got to make some friends. Looking out. Look for a way to share God's story from your life, the testimony that God has given you. It doesn't have to be your long testimony. 15 seconds. You know what? There was a time in my life when I was a real knucklehead.
I used to let rats go.
There was a time in my life I used to let rats go. But I followed Jesus, and now I live a rat-free existence.
That's right. No zoonotic diseases for me.
Not for Davey.
David, that was a good summary. I like that.
Yep.
Real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Closer David bringing us home. Hey, guys. Thank you for taking the time to listen to the Revolve Recap this week. Special one as we switched our roles. Yep. Thanks, David, for being my co-host. Thanks for closing out the podcast. Thanks for closing out Leviticus. And most of all, thanks for being my friend. Take it easy, guys. Have a great week.